Hi, I'm Stacy.
And I am Mark, and this is the Gurus and Game Changers podcast. Welcome, Gurus. Welcome, Game Changers. Today's guest is special. She's an independent recording artist whose song, I Make the Static, rocketed to number one on the Billboard charts for alternative, number one on the Billboard charts for rock, number one on iTunes, number one on Amazon, and her album reached number 12 in the Billboard Top 200 albums for the year.
Wow.
And at one point, you ready for this? At one point, she outsold Beyonce, Adele, Rihanna, and Lady Gaga.
Get out of here.
As an independent artist. Think about that.
That's
what
fantastic.
does that mean? What does that? She's also an actor. I think your first lead role is coming out or just launched into 2022. It's called The Contrast. But
That's
most
right.
importantly, she's an advocate for personal responsibility, and she absolutely believes that you can be your own champion, live the life you want. And she lives those words out loud because she uses her presence, she uses her platform to really speak out on the issues she cares about the most. And I have to at least mention that at one point she was number one on the list of the most Googled Grammy outfits for some head turning and some controversial dresses that she wore on the red carpet, once again placing her ahead of the likes of Lady Gaga, who's known for how she dresses,
That's right.
Rihanna, Beyonce, Taylor Swift.
Wow.
So we're talking about somebody, of course, we're talking about Joy Villa. Joy, it's so nice to see you again.
Thank
It's so
you
great.
for being here, Joy.
It's so good to be seen. Thank you for that
Yeah.
incredible introduction. You know, that's it's pretty amazing. I'm pretty blown away, even when I hear my accomplishments, because it's like, wow, that's right. This I believe anyone can do in their own right. You know, when you put your values and your integrity above fame, but then you also say, I want to achieve something incredible, you can do it.
Yeah.
So,
But you have never struck me as a controversial person. You strike me as somebody who just wants everyone to get along. You know, look for the best in people. But controversy has followed you at some level.
Yeah.
Right? Can you be controversial?
You know, I can be. It's funny because I stand up so strongly for what I believe in that becomes controversial. It's more, it's not controversial to be on the fence, right? But if you
Right.
stand up for something you believe in, anything, if you say, no, I like this over this, it creates controversy, because controversy is just two opposing opinions. And the
Right.
stronger you are in your opinion, the more the other side is going to fight you. Now, recently, I've gone back to being a lot more loving in my presentation, a lot less controversial. You know, I've evolved to have more of the soft life, the soft era, which a lot of people are talking about. You know, it's like a lot more feminine and nurturing and warm, and just, I mean, this is really going back to my roots as a preacher's daughter and being able to just flow with things. I had a lot of fiery energy earlier in my career. It's been, 5 years. Well, I've been a professional artist since I was over 10 years now. I haven't had a day job. You know, I'm so blessed with that. Like, I can just do the things I love to do. I can see the people I love, travel the world, and create my dreams into reality. I give all glory to God. It all comes back to my strong belief and faith in God, because without him, none of this would have been possible.
None of it.
Well, that's wonderful. And I think I think we're talking about like your choice of outfits, maybe at some of the events you've gone to, high profile events. And I've heard you say that it's an opportunity to show the world who you are, which to me, like, whether or not I agree with your political beliefs, I mean, that is something I admire, right? You know, you're going to show the world who you are unabashedly, unapologetically. How do you think, where does that strength come from in you? Like, where did it start?
Oh, what a good question, Stacey. Wow, I love it. It's interesting because I've been conflicted before, right? And I say, okay, I want to show the world who I am, but you don't want to turn the world off, so I always try to present it, again, in that happy, positive way. I just launched my podcast, The Joyful Life.
Right.
Where I share stories, strength. I talk about the 5 pillars of joy. My book about the 5 pillars of joy, it's called The 5 Pillars of Joy, is actually pre-order on my website at joyvilla.com.
We'll link in show notes, everybody.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Right. So the 5 pillars of joy, which I talk about in my new book, which is available on pre-order at joyvilla.com. And those 5 pillars are faith, finance, freedom, fitness, and family. And so you have to have all of those together in order to have a joyful life. And in my journey, I've traveled 39 countries. I've hit these incredible accomplishments professionally. I'm the child of a preacher. Both my parents died about almost 18 years ago. I lost my parents at a young age. I've had to survive a lot, overcome a lot of obstacles. But I keep a smile on my face because I know that in the center of my world are my values and my integrity. And that gives me strength. Even when it's hard for me, because I'm very stubborn,
Aren't we all?
Oh my goodness. I'm far from perfect. I'm far from always happy, but this is my baseline to be positive because I've been through such struggles that I do believe true joy comes from overcoming obstacles, achieving accomplishments in your personal life, your family life, not just in the financial or the business world, and having the strength to say, I know God has a great plan for me, so I'm going to keep going. That's that faith. So long answer, but that's where I find my strength.
That's awesome. And those struggles that you talk about, like, do you remember like the moment where you were in a struggle and you're like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to flip this and I'm going to be positive about it. Like, so and were you young? Like, how did that happen?
Oh my goodness. So, growing up, it was feast or famine in my household. So, at one point we were homeless. We lived in a van. My dad lost his job. He lost his business, unforeseen circumstances. Grew up in Santa Barbara. I grew up in Santa Barbara, California. And there was such my family were not great with money, but they made a lot of money. So it was very lavish. So we had 3 cars, we had a huge house, we lived on the beach, and I didn't know anything about that. And it was just like, oh, this is just how it is, right? But my dad always taught me the value of looking at people who have less. So on the weekends, we would go do outreach, feed the homeless, we'd do outreach for wounded veterans and less fortunate people. So I knew that there was poverty that existed. It just didn't touch me until I was around 10, 12 years old. And that's when we lost everything.
Wow.
And it was tragic because I said, why didn't you tell me that we were running out of money? My family had a lot of pride. I'm, Latina, I'm Black. Like, we have a lot of pride in our family. Yeah. My dad, being Argentinian and Italian, he always had to have the face of it's all cool, it's all fine. So we had that tragedy happen, and my mother suffered from mental illness. So at 12 years old, really a lot of things changed for me, and it caused me to have a spiritual awakening, actually. I've always been an artist. I've always been very spiritual, but I spoke to God. I said, God, help me be a great person. Help me accomplish artistic integrity, accomplishments. Help me reach the world. Help me live my dreams. I mean, even as a kid, I always knew, I had big sights. I said, I want to be famous and I want to be out there on the red carpets. Like, I had that vision, but I wanted to do it the right way. So doing all that, it even in struggles, we lost my dad. We lost my mom first, which was very tragic. I was around 19, 20 years old. I gave a child up for adoption. I was in an abusive relationship. I had a lot of things happen, which I talk about in my book, The 5 Pillars of Joy, because I want to be very vulnerable and honest. I share these on my podcast. I used to feel like I can't share the darkness because I have to be the light all the time. But that's toxic positivity. It's not true positivity. So I do a whole episode about that too.
Yeah, I watched that. That was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
So you were 19, you said, when your mother passed. How old were you when your father passed?
My father passed, so I was about 19, maybe 20 when my mother passed, and my father, I was 24.
You were young. Does not having their support from that point forward in any way shape you in a way that benefited you? And to force you to move forward and grow in a way that you would not have?
Mark, that is such a deep question. I love it because it's true. It does. I'll tell you, it shattered my world. When my mother died, because she suffered from mental illness, paranoid schizophrenia, beautiful artist, but very broken. And I was always the one cheering her up. Think good thoughts, Mommy. Think good thoughts, She would just be in the kitchen. She would break down crying. She'd be immobilized. She heard voices. She But I would say, Mommy, it's okay. You're going to make it through. When my mother died, it sent me into a whirlwind. I crashed and burned. I did the, drinking. I went out clubbing, partying. I was like, who cares? Nothing matters anymore. I really disrespected my own self and my body because I was fully in grief. And then 3 years later, I found, spiritual tools to help me. I found ways to go into prayer, meditation, health and fitness became huge. I actually started working on the 5 pillars of joy without knowing that's what I was doing. So when my father died, he was my rock. My dad has always been my rock. And that shattered me in such a deep way, but I didn't act out in unhealthy patterns because I had that stability of doing the work, prayer and fasting, fitness, just vitamins, not drinking. I didn't drink alcohol for 10 years. I didn't, go out to clubs. I just refocused my life, no drugs. And so it shattered me emotionally, but it gave me such strength because I didn't go back into patterns. I said, I'm going to stay strong. I'm not going to destroy myself just because I've lost arguably one of the most incredible beings on this planet. Like nobody will ever compare to my dad. He was such a strong, kind, funny individual. I know everyone thinks their dad is their hero, but my dad really was my hero.
I feel you. You. Same thing happened to me.
It did give me that strength. It did give me that ability to fight. I have to say I took on the mantle of, well, then I'm going to carry the legacy. That was the positive thing. And it gave me survival instincts. I can go to any country. I've been to 39 countries. I can go to a country, drop me in the middle of a country with nothing. I'll figure it out.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And you've lived, I'm sorry, do you have more to that
No, go
question?
ahead.
I was just going to say, and you've lived in England and Denmark and South Africa, right?
That's right.
What brought you there to live? And then I know you love talking about travel stories, like throw in a good travel story too. Because I know you've been to 39 different countries. So how come you lived in England and Denmark and South Africa?
Well, it's good questions again. I have to say so when the pandemic happened, I've traveled before. So living in Denmark, so I was married for 7 years. We were together for 7 years, married for 3, to a man from Denmark. So that was what took me to Denmark at 25 years old. And I lived there and I was like a fish out of water because Denmark is everything's beige. The people are beige. The land is beige. Their decor is beige. Beautiful people, but beautiful beige people.
Right.
The way they act is beige. They're like, hello, how are you? And I mean, I don't know if you haven't noticed, but I'm far from beige.
Yeah, you're definitely not beige.
I am hot pink and red and vibrant colors and like dancing and like, yeah, hey, I talk to strangers and they would just be like, oh, hello, why are you talking to me? Something wrong with you. So I felt very fish out of water. And that gave me a lot of strength though, because I had to survive. I had to do things to make myself feel good. I mean, my ex-husband at the time was always working, very famous photographer. I modeled, we built a company together. So that took us around the world. And modeling and I'm the most Leica photographed woman in the world. Leica cameras, very expensive German cameras.
Okay.
So yeah, which is cool. That was my first claim to fame.
Wow. Very cool.
And that gave me this confidence to put on the persona. I always had the persona, like I love Marilyn Monroe, Dorothy Dandridge, the classic women, the feminine beauties of old. So the glamorous. So I would always put on the persona and be that way. And
Nice.
It was really fun. And I still do that on the red carpet. That's who I embody. And I think of, and I go, oh, that's in that, that sort of energy.
I love that.
So I thank you. So I kind of lost track. I love talking about
No,
these
I was just
stories.
saying then you were in England, then you were in South Africa. Was it the same kind of thing where you just decided to live there or were you?
Yeah. So then that got me into, because we traveled so much at that point, I started touring with my music because I said, if I'm going to be in this country for 5 days modeling, I might as well book a show because I'm a musician as well and singer-songwriter. And I thought, well, I'm not really doing this. Modeling's paying the bills. I have this incredible relationship. It's incredible, thing, but I've got to keep, I always was like, I have to level up. It was never enough for me, which is good and bad.
Right.
But I'm always like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? I'm a master planner and thinker in the future, and which can cause anxiety.
Is that coming from a need to achieve more, or is that coming from a defensive, I need to have more options?
Probably a little bit of both,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. I love a smorgasbord. A smorgasbord. Your girl loves a buffet.
Understand that.
Ever since she was a kid, and even when I would go and get my sodas, I'd be like, I would do this thing with my sister where we'd pick every single flavor. We didn't get sodas very often, but when we did, I would put every single flavor and mix it up. You can't just settle on one. Like, I need to sample everything. I think it's becomes both, a need for change and stimulation. I talk about this a lot with my cousin Randy, who's a musician who's toured around the country, and she's a free spirit, and she's one of my best friends. And we talk about this. There is that need to constantly have stimulation, because if you're stimulated outside big cities, bright lights, things to do, travel, you don't have to look inside, right? And sometimes inside feels ugly and feels dark and it feels hard to comprehend, hard to confront. So what I did after I had a lot of success, financial success, right? Doing the political scene, I did feel very empty many times, to be honest, because I loved speaking up. I loved being straightforward. I loved my values, putting my values forward, but I also realized it wasn't the end all be all. It wasn't everything. It's not going to heal the world, something that can be very controversial. Only love and truth and lifting above it. It's a spiritual world we must live in, right? So I thought, okay, even though I love what I do, there's got to be more. And then a little thing, I don't know, do you guys remember this thing that happened a few years ago? COVID-19?
No, I
little thing?
Yeah, I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
it was, I don't know. It was,
I blacked out for 3 years.
Right? When that happened, it changed me. It was like a lightning bolt hit me straight through my chest. I thought, my God, what am I doing? Like, I'm living in this expensive, gorgeous place. I pay for myself. So I gotten divorced. It's fine. It was, we were still friends. It was everything was okay. He's doing his thing. I was in a new relationship. I had a big, beautiful place in Hollywood, two beautiful cats. I'm touring around the world with public speaking gigs, which I love, inspiring people. I had a whole team, assistants, like a machine, but I was constantly online.
Right.
I mean, I would wake up in the morning, check my Twitter and tweet and do everything until the night I would go to bed on my phone. And it put a big riff in my relationship, because I loved my, this new relationship very much, but I was always gone. And I thought, well, I'm paying in mind, I'm doing the things I need to do, but it was very surface level, because my career and my ambitions were everything. And I was barely making music. I produced one more album and a couple more songs, but I felt so corporate. I felt so locked in, so trapped into this image of perfection that I had to maintain. And it was a prison. It was a golden cage, because it had everything material. And then when COVID hit, I thought, I need to get out of the country. This country's locked down. I'm very outspoken about not, taking certain things and doing certain things. I can't speak too much probably on the podcast, but I'm into freedom a lot. Let's say that.
Yes.
And I said, I'm going to go someplace else. And so originally I was going to go with my boyfriend at the time. Very good guy. I helped him build his company. He's doing very well. He's like a men's soap hair care company. And I always love working with my mates. I always love like creating, because if you don't do projects and create, then you start creating like antagonism amongst yourselves, right? It's either you're facing the outside world together or you're facing each other. And then it's like, nitpick problems. I'm like, no, let's just go outside. Let's go take a walk. Let's go take an adventure. Let's talk about our dreams, let's create. So I realized we were going to go to South Africa together. He didn't want to go at the end. And I said, can I go travel by myself? Why not? I knew nobody, you guys, nobody out there. Wow. But I knew, there were some churches and charities. A good friend, Stacey Francis, who's an amazing recording artist. She was a finalist on X Factor. She knew Whitney Houston. She's a huge star. She's a dear friend of mine. And she said, she got me into South Africa. She said, you should go to South Africa. I know who this person, they'll pick you from the airport, blah, blah, blah. I took off. I left.
That's incredible.
And I was going to stay for a month. and I ended up living there for 6 months. It's the
Wow.
most amazing country. I did tons of charity work. I worked with children. My ego fell away. I didn't care. When I sang, I didn't sing for money. I sang for charity events, for fundraisers. There was a school with a feeding scheme. It's called a feeding scheme, where you have certain planned dates to feed the community. Ooh, nothing humbles you like seeing children covered in sores, sharing one pair of shoes,
My God.
coming to just get some food, and it was like, my God, these babies are suffering. I mean, I had a breakdown where I couldn't take, I was hyperventilating, and I had to go into the school outside the feeding line, and I said, these babies, like, they have sores on their bodies, and they're unaffected by it. They're going through incredible pain and suffering. Meanwhile, America, we're such brats. I'm sorry, but we are.
Yeah.
I've been a brat before too. We have this third world or first world problems. My iPhone doesn't work. It's like these babies are not eating for days.
It's awful.
These parents have kids that they can't feed, and they're so smiling and they're so happy about it. And this is about 40 minutes outside of a major city. I got to put this out there. South Africa is a country in Africa. It's not an area. Most people don't know that. And it is very modern and very, clean and nice. But on the outskirts, there are these shanty towns 40 minutes outside with devastating poverty. And that's where we went. And I had a breakdown. I started crying, hyperventilating. Stacy came around and she hugged me. It's the Stacy Francis Foundation. We did some fundraising online too. And I said, I can't. This is so hard. She says, I know. I go back every year and I feel the same way. So the next day I went in and I spent $200 on Band-Aids. I wanted to do something, it's like it's never enough. It feels like a black hole. You want to house them and clean them and take everybody home. But you also realize you can't, you're not a bottomless pit. So I just loved on them, and I just gave all the kids like cute little Band-Aids. And I mean,
Wow. That's
it
incredible.
was intense. It changed my life. It changed my life. That's why I stayed there. And, I met my best friends out there, like family. Like somebody from South Africa called me today. I was like, they're like my family now, because they have that culture, that community, Ubuntu, where we help each other. America and the Western civilization, including Denmark, Europe, it's very me. It's very like me first, my family, my life. And then in Africa, the culture, mostly in the whole continent, by far, and also in East Asia as well, there's this family community. Hey, sister. Hey, brother. Can I help you? Are you hungry? Let me reach into my pocket and give you some food. Strangers would help you out there. Wow. And I needed that. I needed that healing to know that the world was not a terrible place. So God took me out there, worked with many charities, many NGOs, many churches, and fundraised for them, and also spoke, used my power of influence to help. And I wasn't posting it all on social media. A few things I did, but I purposely didn't go out there to make it like Joy Villa goes to Africa. Hey guys, it wasn't about that.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to be Paris Hilton, although I love Paris Hilton, but I wasn't trying to make it part of my image to look better. And that was key. So that's what took me there. And then the UK, some friends reached out. There was some more charity events out there, and I was looking for a new adventure. And I ended up staying there for 2 years because I have a huge community out there as well. And London, there's plenty of work. I ended up shooting a film, working with an actress out there, Rebecca Grant, who was on the TV show Doctors, very famous out there. And she's one of my best friends, staying with her family. I ended up doing a lot of things like getting in touch with children and nature. Like we lived near a forest. I would walk around the forest. It was very healing for me. And then I did influencer marketing, and I did things online rather than having to always be there in person, because I was on my grind earlier, like just constantly on a plane. Coming back, I remember I came back when I was living in Hollywood from a speaking tour, and then I would come back and I slept, and I saw my cats, and I got right back on a plane like 6 hours later.
Wow.
I had no regard for my own personal growth. It was just work, which felt good because I can be a workaholic.
Sure.
But it suffered. I crashed and burned. So then traveling to other countries, being a vagabond, like my namesake song, the whole album is called I Make the Static, and on that it's five tracks that hit number one. And one of them is Vagabonds, which the music video I shot in Bali. And I wrote this song before I ever hit foreign soil. I'd been to Canada and Mexico on missions trips for my church as a kid. And I wrote the song about traveling, never slowing down, gypsies of yesterday. And I ended up having that life. I created that life.
Wow. You manifested it. That's
I did.
amazing.
I did.
But then you finally came back to the US, right?
God brought me back to the US. I kept renewing my visa in the UK, on the weekends I could go to Paris for cheap,
Right.
and it seems like a very lavish lifestyle, but it is, but it's hard work. I always put work out there, and I started chasing art and creation more. And I started praying, and God brought me back to Florida.
So how did the Joy Tribe follow you when you were all over the world? Like, were they, because I feel like when I watch your stuff, like you really embrace your fame and, also your tribe, your Joy Tribe. Like, and I feel like I feel like some people who have the same kind of exposure you do, they're sort of like shun it and they don't like it and they don't want it in their lives. But I feel like you embrace it. You're like, this is who I am, and I love my Joy Tribe, and so what's your philosophy on being so well adjusted to the fame? And when you came back to Miami, did you like come back with splash, or like how did you celebrate your Joy Tribe when you came home?
Well, I love that. Well, I love I love my Joy Tribe because they've been with me since the beginning. Since I was just an artist creating, through political messaging, through the transformation of me, now doing more, positivity, self-help. I guess there's those words, I don't want to sound cheesy with it, but you know how it is, like in this category of lifting culture up, which I believe everyone should be outspoken. I believe in the power of freedom, speaking, freedom of speech. And my Joy Tribe follows suit. I just tell them, you're powerful, you're amazing, you were created to do great things. And, Joy Tribe means we accept each other for our differences. You don't have to agree with what I say. You don't have to follow what I do, but I will give you that respect. I will listen to you. You give me the respect and listen to me. And that's how we do it. Joy Tribe is like this circle of energy. We circulate it. We move, we groove, we have fun, we laugh. Sometimes we pray. Sometimes we crack silly jokes. Sometimes we're a little, crazy with it. And I'm just myself. And I really, truly put that into my Joy Tribe. And we've had meet and greets. They love my music. We do a live every Wednesday on my YouTube channel, Miss Joy Villa on YouTube. Every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I go live for an hour, and I just
You just chat. You
I
just
just
say what's on your
chat,
mind.
girl.
It's great. It really
Exactly.
is. I was watching
We
some
just
of them.
talk. Yeah,
Super
and it's
organic. You're super authentic and transparent. And if there's a tech issue, there's a tech issue. If you're trying to find something on your phone, you're trying to find something on your phone, and it's cool. Like, I love it. And I'm sure most of your fans believe like they know you, because like when I watch that stuff, I'm like, oh, I know Joy. She's like my best friend now. You know what I mean? I feel like I know you, so they must too. And then you embrace them coming up to you, which a lot of celebrities, like, they say what they will.
Right.
But then fans come up to them and they're like, no photos. But it seems like you really embrace them. So that's awesome.
I love it. Anytime someone comes up to me, I'm like, are you kidding me? That is so beautiful. I was in Costco and they're like, Joy Villa, I'm such a fan. And this girl, she was wearing a green cool jacket with flowers, and I was wearing a green cool dress with flowers. And so we looked so good together. And I was like, you look so cute.
You're like, let's get some more photos. Like, I love
Exactly.
that.
I like to take photos with my
That's
fans.
awesome.
And I usually, they're so respectful. I did an event helping Vanilla Ice the other day for the Florida-Georgia game. He performed. So Vanilla Ice, he's from St. Augustine. So I know him and his people. And so we worked together. I was like, I came out and I was like, yeah, I'll run your merch booth. I'll help you set up.
You're the
Just because,
best.
like, musicians be musicians, I love it. He's incredible. He's just so outspoken and so pro, like, military and first responders. He gives, he prays before his sets. He talks about, like, everybody, God bless America. I'm so glad. Like, he has the same values I do. And so, I work with my friends, and I got a call. I'm like, I'll help out Vanilla Ice. And I got recognized, and someone was working with me and helping me, another musician. And he's like, wait, I didn't know what are you doing? I was like, yeah, just working out, just helping.
I'm
And all
working
of a
the
sudden
booth.
yeah, exactly. Just working the booth. I'm like, yeah, come say hi. I like doing that stuff because it keeps me grounded. Those are the kind of gigs
That's
and things I did on the way
it.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. I mean, that's a great word for you. It keeps you grounded. You know, and maybe it's partially. I heard you talk about your mixed ethnicity, right? Your father was
Yes.
Italian and Argentinian. Your mother was Black and Native American, right?
That's right. That's
So
right.
you
Choctaw.
you talk about at times people force you to want to identify. Are you black? Are you white? What are you? And you're like, I'm Joy. That's pretty much it, right? So,
That's
and I think that's the brief amount of time that I've known you. I've known you to be so positive and inclusive and welcoming, because that's your mindset. Now you've walked through the fire, right? You've gone through that. But I do love, like Stacey just started talking about your confidence and how that defines who you are today. Because you have a great quote, and I give two actually that I wrote down because I love them. One is, "It's better to be over the top than under the radar."
Woo!
Great quote. And the other was, "Go big or go home. You can either stand for what you believe or fall for what you don't. Above all, make a choice." So you've made some big, bold choices in your career, in your personal life.
Fashion.
Yeah, in fashion. So what are some of those other bold choices? Like going to live some other country, multiple countries, that's a bold choice.
You're absolutely right.
You know, if you want to talk about the religious side of things, that's a bold choice. So your father, I assuming, was a preacher, a Christian preacher.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you've morphed into Scientology, but you say they don't compete and they stay together. That fascinates me. That you're
Yeah.
both a Christian and a Scientologist. How does that work?
That's right. Well, I'm a Christian by faith, believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
And then I use the tools from Scientology, the spiritual tools. There's a thing called auditing,
Yeah.
which is the spiritual counseling, which I've used to heal a lot of my past wounds. Listen, it's not for everybody. Nothing is for everyone. This is something that worked for me. It's something that is incredible. The people of Scientology have been so incredible to me. There's a big community there, and it works. Whatever spiritual counseling you use, you stick to it. For me, that's been it. And they don't compete because one is tools to use to heal past traumas, and the other is my faith, my relationship with God. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a new concept to me that they could coexist. I always thought it was one or the other.
Yeah, a lot of people don't, because it's also there's Buddhists that are Scientologists, there's Christians that are Scientologists, because you use those tools and it doesn't say we don't say like you can't believe in God or God is this. There is God, and as you choose to express your faith in God is what you choose to express. It's much more Eastern in that way.
Yeah.
And it's much more, it's been modernized tools for living, truly just life improvement tools. So I love that. And for me, my faith in God has been so key in everything that I say, God, where do you want me to go? And he's brought me through the fire to these tools, to these people, to these places. I always pray before I go or try something or do something. And the bold choices are also my relationships, like I'm currently in an amazing relationship that I haven't announced yet.
Go ahead.
Keeping it private.
If you want
We'll
to
stop
here,
talking. Go
like
ahead.
just a little,
it's a good venue.
see. Well, I will. If he listens to this, it's gonna be amazing. But it's someone that I've known for many years. I'll just say that, and God has shown us that we're more than friends. We've met as friends, and it's something that is brought so much love in my life. He is an incredible person, an artist, and I'm now thinking with us, and he's been saying so much of that, and I've been seeing it that we are a team and moving forward to the future. And I thought, I'm 37 years young, right?
So young.
And it's an incredible thing. A lot of people don't talk about their age too, and I've lied about my age before, like did the Hollywood thing, and I go, well, it's part of me. It's part of who I am, and to find love at this age, I mean, it's not old, but it's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible. So God is moving and grooving on that, and I'm making a very bold choice, which I'll tell more about later as it develops.
Ooh.
But yeah,
Not
I
even
just
Go to your
love
live.
No hints.
Exactly.
I don't want to break it here.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
No,
got it.
it's right.
I get it. Hey, let me ask you a question. Why? I saw that you performed as Princess Joy Villa. Is it
Yeah.
true? Where's the princess come from?
Well, that was a moniker given to me. I think when I was creating, I did a lot of beautiful photo shoots around the world in princess dresses and crowns. I've always seen myself as royalty, and I encourage others to see themselves as
I love it.
royalty.
Yeah.
And to treat, like, I write down all my manifestation, like when I want to manifest, right, all my desires, hopes, and dreams. I've done that my whole life, and I pray about it. I meditate on it. I reflect it. I use a lot of different tools, spiritual tools. Like, I'm not a in my family growing up, we did that too, Christian mysticism sometimes, different tools, but always under God. But one of the tools I use that's helped me the most is writing down things, which everyone can do, and it's not a religious thing, but writing it down and then focusing on it and bringing it into an existence. Be, do, and have, my spiritual journey, being that, and then you do the actions, then you'll have the results. So I would write down being treated like a queen wherever I go. Like, that's one of my things I want, because that doesn't rely on money. It doesn't rely on influence. It's just they recognize your queenly state, that I wear my crown. I always have the good posture, try to always have that, and love myself, respect myself. When I come in, I treat others as kings and queens, and then I expect the same respect. So it's that dignity, that sort of elegance of the royalty. And then I was given, like, oh, you're a princess, Princess Joy Villa. So that was the name I went under for years. I sort of dropped the princess, but I still, I still own
feel it.
That's
royalty.
cool.
Yeah,
That's
still
a
feel
good
it.
question. Can I ask you about your style? Because I just love the way you dress. Like, even today, like, for listeners who are just listening to this, like, she looks so beautiful. She has a flower in her hair, pink and an orange microphone with white. Even everything just works so well. So tell me, and the nails. Oh my God, beautiful. So how did your passion for fashion happen? And like, what are you trying to represent with the clothes that you wear? And how should we all do it? How can we look like you?
Oh, I love that. Well, it's bold choices in fashion. Colors, bright colors. I dress the way I feel. So I've always been that way as a kid. I've always been into sparkly, wild, crazy things. But I choose it based on what I like. If I see something and I say, oh, I like that, it indicates to me on some sort of spiritual, emotional level, physical, aesthetic level, where I'm like, oh, I'm attracted. Like this shirt, I just got this, and I thought, oh, I love it. It's got a nice fit. You can't see it's kind of tailored. It's very feminine. It's a small type, form-fitting shirt, and I love it because it's very stretchy. It's very comfortable, and it's got flowers that just bursts of red, juicy flowers on a pink background. And and I go, oh my gosh, that's how I feel, and I want that. I like it, so I get it. These earrings from South Africa, circular,
Beautiful
design, and they're yellow and they're red.
Watch on
This
YouTube,
flower.
you guys. She's gorge.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Please. This flower, my boyfriend got me a whole bunch of flowers because he sees that I always have flowers in my hair. So he bought me these. And I'm like, oh, thank you. It's hard to buy me clothes or fashion stuff because I change so much, but this is consistent. And so this is beautiful, big, juicy hibiscus, faux hibiscus, and then pink nails, because you could say, well, I should do beige nails, I should do a neutral color. I don't go for neutrals. Gold and silver are my neutrals.
Right.
I like bold. If it's something that indicates to me, then I get it. And I don't think with, does it match my skin tone? Of course, I know those tools too, growing up in fashion and being a model for over 15 years. I know the certain, color matching and things in presentation. Fit is more important. Color is next. And how does it make you feel? Do you feel confident in it? So I'll put something on, I'll be like, oh yeah, I know. So now it's second nature to me. I know. I didn't even try this on. I was like, that's going to fit me. It's going to look great. First time I'm wearing it. It's just something simple like that. But that's really the basic for finding your fit as a male or female, is go bolder than you think. Find something that you like. Oh, I love this Peaky Blinders hat. Buy it, wear it. Who cares what other people think? Oh, but if I wear red, will it go with my complexion? Who cares? Wear red. You're going to feel so good. You're going to be glowing. You just put on different makeup or earrings that match, whatever. It's not about the technical tools. It's more about expressing yourself through your art. It's an expression, and it's more about feeling, really, truly. True fashion. Style is now not wearing 25 different things, but choosing a few select pieces that stand out. Style is different than fashion, right? but it's all about expression. Also pile it on if you want. That can be a look as well. I hate minimalism. Everyone worships minimal. It's so minimalistic. It's barely anything.
I love you. It's awesome.
I'm a maximalist.
That is amazing. Wait, does the flower mean something? Like, is there a reason why you put it in your hair? Or you just like the way it looks?
Well, I love the way it looks. In Hawaii, a woman wears flower on one side representing she's taken, the other side representing she's single, right? Some of the Hawaiian tribes, but I really don't know which side it is, to be honest with you. I just switch it up to whichever where I'm feeling the curls are flowing good. So, it's just the flower. Yeah, the flower is just it's expression, it's beauty, it's feminism, femininity, not feminism, but femininity. It's God's creation. I see myself as a beautiful flower. All women are beautiful flowers. And I see myself as sort of the caretaker and gardener of that beautiful flower. So it reminds me the beauty of nature and creation.
So I actually have a question sort of related to that. So you've gone through a lot, right, through your years, and you've had lots of experiences, lots of learnings. If you're giving advice to a teenage girl where she's just starting to figure out her path, right? 14, 19, somewhere in there, where you had to figure out your path at that point, right? When your mother first passed.
Yeah.
What are you telling her based on what you've learned?
Whew. Don't listen to what other people tell you should be. Listen to yourself. Find out who you are. Go into prayer, meditation, journaling, listen to music, go for long walks. Find yourself, your own beat. Don't listen to what other people say, including your friends. Don't listen to pop culture, but find who you are, because that is the essence of who you will become as you grow older. It's the essence. If you never forget that. Look at when you were a child. What did you like? Without abandon. Did you like this color? Did you like this food? Did you say these kind of things? Did you dance? And, kids are so free. So in that age where you're going to be growing and becoming an adult, a woman, don't forget to be the little girl. Don't forget to honor that little girl, because she is special. She is worthy. Protect her. You are the mother and caretaker of that little girl. And as you grow into a woman, there's going to be more emotions and more people trying to get you to be this, that, and the other. You don't have to listen to them. Be your own counsel. Go to God, find spiritual center, your own essence, and create out of that. And don't let anybody tell you different. Be willing to take advice, but be very selective on what advice you take. Read, listen to podcasts, educate yourself, find your own center, find what's true for you, what indicates to you in your heart, make that your philosophy, and then act out of that. And don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to ask for more money, more time, more investment. I need more for that. I don't like how this is going. I'd like it to be this way. Say it very assertively, not aggressively, and honor your feminine, because that's what really turns a girl into a woman.
Damn, that was good.
Whoa, mic drop.
That was your mic drop moment. That was great.
That's unbelievable. So good. So what is next for Joy?
Yeah.
What is next for you? What are you going to drop here? What do we got?
Yes, we got 2 new movies coming out. One
Nice.
is a travel documentary I've been working on this whole year. I co-produced it with Chris Johnson, an incredible filmmaker who produced and wrote The Contrast. He gave me my first major role. So he's an incredible man. We've worked together now on several projects. So The Contrast is available on Amazon Prime. It's a romantic comedy. I star in it. Very cute film. Get yourself a glass of wine, get the girlfriends together, guys too. And then we have this new film that is a travel documentary about Andorra, which is the world's safest country. So that's coming out soon next year. And then I have a Christmas film, a beautiful Christian Christmas film, lighthearted, fun, feel good. Stars Rebecca Grant. It stars myself, a few other incredible actors, and I co-produced that as well as co-wrote it.
Nice.
First feature screenplay. Yeah. So 2 films, independent features, another album I'm working on. I've been telling my Joy Tribe for years, I'm like, I'm still working on this album, but it's true. It's like I'm evolving and changing and growing so much that I go, my goodness, I'm not ready yet, but I will go into the studio. So I'm recording an album. I'm going to be producing a lot more content on my socials. I'll be probably releasing this new relationship. We'll be co-creating some stuff together, like talks on relationships. And I know it's crazy to say I'm releasing this new relationship, but when you're a content
Yeah,
creator, it's
I
like
understand.
Everything's a
every
release.
part. Yeah, everything's a release. Everything's I'm like a soft launch.
Right.
Dropping
It's
my
like, I
new
hear myself.
relationship
Right.
next week, everybody. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
funny.
ready to go.
crazy.
It drops.
Yeah, because I also, him and I talk about this is we want to show people true love, even differences. Like we have a lot of physical differences. We look very different from each other. We have quite a unique story. Having started as friends for years and years, we've been friends for 15 years. It's like crazy. And all of a sudden we turn into lovers and we want to go the distance. And it becomes something where, the travel and the calling and everything in my life has led me to this moment. So I want to also give that content to my fans. The Joyful Life, the podcast, is going to be going into season 2 pretty soon, but all episodes are available to listen on YouTube, on my website, joyvilla.com, and on Spotify. So it'll be more content there. And my book, The 5 Pillars of Joy, available for pre-order right now.
Nice. My goodness.
I can't wait to actually read that book.
I know, I'm gonna read
believe
it
in
too.
all 5 of those pillars, and I can't wait to see your take
Yeah.
on it because you're so positive and you're so confident and you're so experienced in all of those in your travels. It's been great.
Thank you.
Can I ask another
Yeah, go ahead.
sort of off the cuff question? So look, I'm fascinated by people who have multiple tattoos, right?
Oh, yeah.
I have
Body
one.
art, beautiful
It took
art.
me until I was 50 to decide to put something on my body that I was
Let's see yours.
confident and comfortable
Yeah, I want to
with.
see this, Mark.
It's my son's initials. That's
Aw,
all it is.
I love it.
Wait, you want to hear this? Ready?
Yeah, yeah.
Why did I get it here? Well, for one, because I'm on air. I'm on TV,
I can, like,
and I
pinch
don't
you.
want it showing, right?
Yeah.
Second is, I told him, this way you're always, no matter where you go, no matter how old you get, you'll always be in my arms and close to my heart.
Oh, I
I
love
know.
that.
Isn't that wonderful?
Why?
I made that up after I got the tattoo. That's not why I got it. But it was awesome. It made my wife go, "Aw," and made my son go, "Aw, Dad." But the point is, you have many. I'd love to know them. That's a lot of meaning to me. Just my son's initials, a significant amount of meaning to me.
Yeah.
I see it. Is that a heart I see with arrows through it on your arm?
Yes, that's my newest one. And my best friend, he's a tattoo artist, and he did this one. It's a heart, an anatomical heart with 3 arrows, and it like I've been shot by Cupid's arrow, and it's also body, mind, and spirit.
Love it.
I love that so much. Yeah, I just got that. So Jeremy Lifsey, my best friend, tattoo artist, we know each other forever. He travels around. He's going to Los Angeles, so he does incredible work. He's also done this on me. This is a bird cage
cage?
flying free.
wow. God, he's good.
That's cool.
Those are
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's really
You guys
good.
are making
cool.
me want one.
I saw you're live with him.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
yeah, you just did that.
You saw the live with Jeremy.
And I
Now,
saw
this
you when he
is-
was putting that heart on you. I think you were filming that as well.
Oh, that's right. Exactly. That's right. Yep. I went to his tattoo shop. He's out in Ocala, Florida. So,
You have other tats that are meaningful to you?
I do. This one is, this is Storm from X-Men. I don't know if you can see
Yeah.
her. Very good. So I got this in South Africa. And this is by South Africa's favorite tattoo artist, Brad. He is, I forgot his last name. Sorry, Brad. But yeah, I have to tag him.
great.
So this is one of my favorites.
Why Storm?
Well, Storm, so she's from Africa. She's from Egypt originally, and she's a queen, and she's my
there we go.
favorite superhero.
I love it.
Reminds me of me, and she's beautiful. And as a child, so this is the Storm from the '90s. So I grew up seeing this, and during my hardest times, I had a little X-Men card, and I would look at that, and I would dream, and it was always about like being a superhero, being a strong woman, powerful woman. She's buff, she's like fit, and it's my fitness idol as well, because I trained my body doing bikini bodybuilding. I'm a certified personal trainer, nutritionist as
Oh
well.
my God,
amongst
what
other
aren't
things.
you? Like,
That's what the 5 pillars of joy.
I
I
feel
do them all
I feel like such a
professionally.
slacker.
You're an achiever.
Oh my
that's
God.
for sure.
I really don't have hobbies. There's something wrong with me. I don't have hobbies. I just go pro with it. But I love that accomplishment. I was raised with that. If you're going to do it well. Do it to the best of your ability, and be honorable in what you do. So
Yeah.
this is California, because I was born and raised in California. which means a lot to me. This is poet. Jeremy did this for my birthday because I'm a poet. I'm a songwriter. I've written all my songs myself. And then this one is my most meaningful tattoo. This is for my dad. When he passed away, Jeremy again gave me this gift, and I was heartbroken. He said, we'll do a tattoo in honor of him. So my dad was a tiger, Joseph Mario Villa, and it says Daddy's Girl.
Daddy's girl.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Those are
This
wonderful.
tattoo's been on the red carpet. It's been
Yeah.
everywhere. I carry that legacy. And this looks like him. We both love tigers so much. He was born in the year of the tiger. I was also born in the year of the tiger.
Wow.
We love tigers. We talk about tigers. And it has his like kind of face in it. So,
I love it.
yeah.
That's wonderful.
That's awesome. Good question. I always love to hear about people's art.
Yeah.
I know.
It always means
I'm
something.
going to get more too.
Yeah?
Never
sure.
enough tattoos.
What's the next one?
I'm surprised you only have one, Mark.
I
Like,
know.
that's-
You know what? I got that bug though. They always say you get one and it's hard to stop. It has been hard
They're
to
like
stop. but
Pringles.
I know.
Can't have just one.
I know.
just afraid.
I've been forcing myself not to get more.
We might have to come out there. I might have to tell Jeremy to take a trip down there.
Oh,
Let's
please.
go.
Awesome.
Then I'll get one. If you come, I'll get one too.
Yes.
I'll get my
We'll
first
the Gurus
one.
and Game Changers logo. That's what we'll do. with a crown on top for you because you're royalty. That's what we'll do.
Oh, I love it. I love
Oh my
it.
gosh.
It's funny.
Well, should I ask my favorite question
Go.
and then we
I
can
love your
close it
favorite.
out?
I'll bet she has an amazing answer.
I
to
bet
your
she does
question.
too, but she's also super open. So maybe there isn't anything. So my favorite question to ask people, and I get the best answers, is there one thing about you that no one knows still to this day that you would break here on this podcast?
Ooh, look at you going for the dirt, going for the nitty gritty. I love it.
I mean,
Let's see. I try to be as vulnerable and real. That's always been my thing. You know, people see me without makeup because I never wanted to be like, oh, there's one version of me and then you don't see, and you're like, who's that? You know, I always, and I have a lot of faces, a lot of colors. You know, I'm pretty wild. That's for sure. I would say the thing that people don't know about me is that I don't like to use the word suffer because it's a privilege and a right to be on this planet and it's a gift from God to be alive. But I have insecurities of being too much. And it has led me to people to, you know, my relationships sometimes have been broken because of it. Sometimes my friendships, romantic relationships. Oh, it hurts so much to be told you're too much. I can't handle you. It's too much.
I don't know what that
And that
means.
is-
Yeah, what does that mean? Too much?
It's probably my biggest fear. I've confronted it and faced it. It's really because they're too little, right? It's like they
Right.
can't handle. I just basically saying you're too much or too. I don't really know what it means, but I know it hurts. It's a rejection, right? And it's something that I've had to contend with. Maybe I am too much for some people, you know, and that's okay. And I'm not for everyone. And I've had to be okay with that and say, okay, I am a little bit of a weirdo. I'm definitely a weirdo. I've been a weirdo my whole life. As a kid, a weird, crazy artist, walking to the beat of my own drum. That's why that advice to a 14-year-old girl, I'd tell myself that. It would have saved me a lot of years of stress and anxiety and overthinking, which I still have. But I don't think I have it as bad as some people. So I never think that it's a problem. I always think other people need to be lifted up and helped more than I do. But yeah, I have that vulnerability of like, am I too much? If I come into a room and I shine too bright, is it gonna explode? Are people gonna explode? You know, am I gonna?
Oh,
am
don't
I
make
gonna
yourself
people feel bad?
smaller. Oh, no.
Yeah.
But do you think most people think they're not enough? Do you think that your personality and your confidence and your persona and your presence are coming from your internal thought that you're not enough or you're not enough for you, so you want to be more, and therefore maybe you're too much as a result of that? Or so where does it come from? Is it coming from you thinking you're not enough?
Going deep. I think that I did have that chasing me before, or I was chasing it. It was like I have this thing where there's a certain amount of time we're on this planet, which is true. It's, this tattoo is the eye of time, and there's only a certain amount of time, and it's watching you, and you must accomplish these things before it runs out. You know, and I did have that fueling my life before. doing inner work, therapy. I mean, I can't stress enough how important therapy is, spiritual therapy, whatever way you choose to use it or who you go to. But therapy for me, having a safe place to talk to someone about this and to take responsibility, like it was a very selfish, like I got to accomplish this and no cost, like it doesn't matter what it costs, ambition, ambition, ambition. And that's sort of leaned back a little bit because I don't need to accomplish like it's a dichotomy. I do love to accomplish great things, but I don't want to do it just to accomplish it because that's empty. If you know what I mean. Like my book, I can't say, well, I just want to have a book out there because it'll be my second book. And the first one hit number 4 on the, women in politics category. But I mean, I do things and they're successful. And I love that. I love accomplishing the success, but I can't forget the reason to do it is to provide value to people, not for my own success.
100%. Yeah.
At all costs.
Love it. You have the right end in mind, right?
Yeah. So it's a work in progress. Always, I always think value, 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 value. The money comes when the value is there.
Wow. Amen. God, you're so exquisite.
You're not too much for us.
No, we
could
love
use more.
every second of you. This has been fantastic. I could talk for another 3 hours.
I know. You're great. You're great. I love you to death. You know that.
Oh, Stacy and Mark, I love you guys so much. You're really incredible. Thank you for giving such a great platform for me to speak. It's such good communication. You guys handle it just with ease and grace. And
thank you.
It's a pleasure. It's just talking. We're just it's like water.
Exactly.
So what time should I call you tomorrow?
Anytime. Same time. You know how to reach me.
Thank you, Joy Villa.
Thank you, Joy.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you so much. Have a wonderful day, wonderful year, wonderful life. And I can't wait for the announcement.
Exactly. Oh yeah, joyvilla.com. Should I announce my relationship on probably on my YouTube. We'll do YouTube. We're gonna start.
Okay. You'll hear it here first, everybody, on YouTube.
All right. YouTube, Miss Joy Villa on YouTube, and check out my new book, The
Okay.
5 Pillars of Joy, at joyvilla.com.
All right. Have an awesome week, an awesome
See
day.
y'all.
You guys,
See you
love
soon.
you guys.
Love you.
Be well.
Bye.
Take care.
Nice meeting you.